Ego, Slendy, Ego, Slendy, ayy. Hit it out the park. Hit it with a strike. From the national anthem to the bottom of the night. I'm in Slendy, Ego, Slendy, Ego, Slendy, Ego, Slendy, ayy. You already know what's up. What's that? Another home run. But you know the job ain't done till we hold that trophy up. Hey.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 410 of the Talking Friars podcast and YouTube show. Ben Fadden with you here. It is June 7th, 2023. The Padres, they put a nice whooping on the Seattle Mariners today, 10-3. Roller coaster. You know I keep saying that. Those that watch my pregame, postgame thoughts and listen to the show or watch the show, you know that's been like my go-to phrase, roller coaster of the season. This has been, up, down, up, down, up, down. But what else is there to say right now about this Padres team? I mean, Scan, he was just talking to Juan Soto saying that, yeah, the Padres, they've won 9 of their last 16 games. And I'm like, really? Doesn't feel like that. But I guess they have. Because it doesn't feel like that because it's been up, down, up, down, up, down. So we'll get into it. These 2 games in the Seattle series, some other San Diego sports stuff at the end. If you want to join the show, you can click that link that is pinned up at the top of the chat. You can leave a super chat if you want to make sure I get to it on the show. Feel free to just put comments as well, questions in the comment section, in the live chat. Just a reminder here before we really get started, code Talking Friars, $20 off on SeatGeek. And BreakingT.com. Click that link that is in the description for some great San Diego sports swag. Padres, Aztecs, San Diego Wave. So they can hook you up there. Let's go through here. So the 2 games, obviously last night, Padres lose 4-1. I'll talk about today's game here in a second, but 4-1 loss yesterday, and it's pretty much the same old story, right? Padres go 0-for with runners in scoring position, left 6 guys on base. Soto was left in scoring position. Gary Sanchez was left in scoring position. I think Brandon Dixon was left twice in scoring position. So, yeah, I mean, same old, same old. The bullpen was not as great as we're used to seeing it. Honeywell gave up a run. Steven Wilson gave up a couple runs. There were a couple home runs hit. Teoscar Hernandez hit one. J-Rod hit one. Julio Rodriguez. The ball was crushed, by the way. But again, the story was the offense. Like Musgrove, he pitched good enough, 5 innings. I know there were some people that are like, well, when Musgrove only pitches 5 innings, you say it's a good start, but then when Snell did it, it's not. Well, what I would say to that is just look how consistent Musgrove has been in a Padres uniform, and look at Snell. Look at the innings that Musgrove has provided since he came over, and look at the innings that Snell has provided, right? It's inconsistency on Snell's part, especially first half of the year. And with Musgrove, there's not as much inconsistency. So that's what I would say to that. And he went 5 innings. He gave up 1 run, and he struck out 8. And he walked on 1 guy. And like a quarter of his pitch count was to J.P. Crawford because J.P. Crawford put together some really good at-bats. So I didn't think Musgrove pitched that bad. And he set it up fine. Again, bullpen gave up some runs. But the offense, they will double up in hits. Seattle had 8 hits. Padres had 4. 6th inning, Padres had first and second with 2 outs. Sanchez struck out. I believe there was a situation in the 3rd inning. Let me look that up. While I get to it, in the 9th inning, first and second, 1 out. Crony struck out. He had a better day today, but he struck out there. And then Dixon, he grounded to second to end the game. But yeah, 3rd inning. So there's a runner on second base. Odor had that ground rule double. Ha-Sung Kim, sac bunt. Tatis gets him in. But there's a runner on second base. Or excuse me, there's a runner on third. Nola's on third when Tatis had that ground ball, that soft grounder to Ty France. Odor scored, Nola on third, and Soto ended up grounding out, not being able to drive him in. And at that point, that would have given the Padres a 2-1 lead there. Who knows what happens after that? So again, just missed opportunities, and that's pretty much been the story of the season. And obviously, it's frustrating. And I think they're going to get through this, and I think they're still going to be a postseason team, but you can't have confidence in the team right now when it's just been up, down, up, down, up, down. That's really what it's been. And what are they going to do on Friday? I mean, so they win 10-3 today. What are they going to do on Friday? They have an off day tomorrow, so it's not like they can lose tomorrow. But if the game trend continues, then they're going to do nothing at Coors Field. And if they do nothing at Coors Field, I mean, come on. Coors Field, you should be able to score runs there. Christopher says, today's offensive outburst was nice. Can we have maybe 10 more of these blowouts in a row? Is that too much to ask? Yeah, 10 might be too much, but can they get, hey, let's win like 2 in a row. Let's win like 3 in a row. Let's take 2 out of 3 in this Colorado series this weekend. And then they can come back home. And then they face, I believe, Cleveland and Tampa. Just win the series. Maybe you don't win the first 2, and so it's not 3 in a row, 3 wins in a row, but just take the series, huh? Like, let's try to take some steps forward instead of taking a step forward and then taking a step back. Whenever you take a step forward, you take a step back. Today, Michael Waka, he pitched really good. He ended up going 6 innings shutout, by the way. Set up the Padres. I mean, the Padres, they obviously gave him more than enough run support. But he ends up going 6 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, walked just 1 guy, 7 punch outs. My underdog fantasy pick ended up being incorrect. Waka only threw 82 pitches, but I'm fine with being wrong because he got to only 82 pitches in 6 innings. Like, he did his job. It's not like he got kicked out early and that's why he didn't get to, I think it was, what was the higher lower? It was in the 90s, I think. Or no. I did strikeouts, right? I did I'm forgetting. Yesterday I did Musgrove. Musgrove was the pitch count. He got over that. Today was the strikeouts. Higher on Waka, 5 strikeouts, I believe, right? And he got 7. So I did hit on that one. If I would have done pitch count, I don't think I would have hit on that because he was so efficient, which is good. I'd rather not hit on it. Yeah, Matt, sorry. Yeah, I did strikeouts. You're right. I was confused with the Musgrove game yesterday. Tim Hill came in, no runs there. Carlton gave up a few. Hader came in because he hadn't pitched in a while just to get an inning of work, and he got through that. Hader's ERA this year, 1.54. He's going to be headed to the All-Star game, I would imagine. And Gary Sanchez, I would think he's headed to the All-Star game. I'm kidding. Maybe he is. I mean, there's still a good amount of time for him too. Like, if he continues playing this well, then he probably would go to the All-Star game, I would imagine. Like, he'd be one of the better offensive catchers in baseball, right? Up there with Will Smith and Braves catcher Sean Murphy, right? His first 10 games have been tremendous. I was looking up Tony Gwynn's first 10 games, and he was hitting like well over 300, and OPS was over 800. And I wanted to compare that to Gary. I know Gary, obviously, the power was there, or the power has been there, obviously, more than Tony was, because Tony, that was early in his career. He was not as big then. But just looking at the game logs for Sanchez, his first 10 games with the Padres. So it started May 30th. And in 7 of the 10. Yeah, 7 of the 10 games, he has at least 1 hit. 1 hit the first game, 4 hits the second game. Right? No. 1 hit the first game. I was looking at total bases. 1 hit the first game, 1 hit the second game, 2 hits his third game. One of them was a home run. No hits, then 1 hit, no hits, 1 hit, 1 hit, 2 hits. Today, homering was a 3-run home run, so 3 RBI on the day for Gary. He's hitting 286 through his first 10. And it's not all 10 like full games where he got 4 at-bats in all the games, by the way. Like, I think he pinch hit 1, he DH'd 1, so he hasn't been catching all the games either. But his on-base percentage is .333. Average is .286. And if I were to look at Tony's game logs, his first 10 games, I was looking at this earlier today, in 1982. Again, this is a different Tony than what he was at the end of his career, obviously, or 98 if you want to point to that. Let's see, 110. Let's see. First 10 games for Tony, he had a 372 batting average. 16 hits in those 10 games, in his first 10 games. 419 slug, 810 OPS. So actually the Gary stats that I was talking about, the average and all that, that's not his 10 games. That's his season average, his season on base percentage, his season slug. So my bad with that. I don't know what it is. First 10 with the Padres. I mean, I could look up Baseball Reference here. This isn't updated through 10 games. It's updated through his first nine, but that's closer than that's the closest I can get to it. And this is actually 8 games, not 9. So sorry, am I totally miscalculating how many games Gary's played? He's played 9, not 10. Okay, whatever. You get the point. Like Gary, he's off to a pretty darn good start, especially for a Padres catcher. This was before today, so his first 8 games. 7 starts, 292 average, a 1,079 OPS, 708 slug. So yeah, that sounds better than the stats I was naming off. All right, I have the hiccups, so let me get some water. Here's a quick break. Check out Gaglione Bros' famous cheesesteaks and garlic fries on Friars Road. You can visit their website, gaglionebros.com, for their entire menu and enjoy their cheesesteaks and fries at Petco Park and Snapdragon Stadium as well. All right, so if you're just joining, obviously the Padres, they were able to knock off the Mariners 10-3 today. Waka pitched well. The offense exploded. Juan Soto, 5-hit day, 5 for 5. 4 runs driven in. His OPS is now 905 on the year. So, those fans that want him traded, it just makes me laugh. It really does. Like, let's trade this guy. Send this guy packing, because of the comments he made after Sunday's game, right? People didn't like him. Some fans didn't like him deflecting, even though technically he's right deflecting to others because he's been doing his job. He's been, the best hitter on the team for like a month now. So he's been doing his job. But a tremendous day from him. And what was encouraging, not just him, but other guys like Crony, they were going to the opposite field today. Soto, I think it was a couple hits that he had to the opposite field. One wasn't hit very hard. It was right to third base, but there was a shift, so no one was there. But still, intentionally trying to go the opposite way. We knew early in the year that was a problem, right? Soto was pulling everything. And that's been a problem with Crony too. Like, it just seems like he's had a long swing. And that might be part of his struggles. Like, I'm not a hitting coach, but it's pretty obvious to see that Crony's been pressing. And it does seem that he has had a longer swing, and he's kind of trying to swing for the fences. And so hopefully he can start going to the opposite field more like he did today. Crony today, he had a 3-hit game, 3 for 4, scored a run, had a sac bunt that helped set up, I think, the first run of the game. So an encouraging day there, but it's kind of like the offense. Like, can he be consistent? Like, can he do it again? Can he do it again? Can he do it again? That's what I want to see. One game's great. Like, yeah, the Padres won today. Cool. We can be happy. We can be happy tomorrow during the off day. They can't lose, right? Can't lose when you don't play, but can they do it consistently, right? And sorry, again, I'm kind of struggling here, kind of have the hiccups here. So it's probably going to be a little bit shorter of a show, but that's okay. It was only 2-game series. And what else is there to say about this team right now? Like, it's been like Waka, I'm encouraged by the starting pitching right now. Waka, Musgrove, Snell, like, I'm encouraged by what I'm seeing there. But the offense is the story. The offense with runners in scoring position, the big guys, the offense has been inconsistent. I did want to hit on Xander Bogaerts. He is not on the IL, and I believe he can go on the IL still, but they can't put it retroactive to Saturday or Sunday, last Sunday. They can't do that. They can only do that, I think, 3 days out. I was seeing John Schaefer on social media recently say that they can't retroactive the date anymore because it's past that 3-day mark. So if Xander goes for now, now I don't think Xander's going to go on the IL because I think they don't want him to be out for even more time. They don't want him to be out for 2 weeks. I wanted him to just go on the IL and backdate it. Like, dude, you're not playing well right now. You're clearly hurt. The wrist is clearly giving you issues. Go on the IL. It's okay if you miss a few more games. They can call up Jose Iglesias. It's not the end of the world. You know, Manny's back. The offense needs to be better as a whole, right? It's not like Xander's going to come back and save the offense, you know? Like, it has to be more guys than just him. Even if he does come back and light the world on fire. Is that going to get the job done? Gary's been kind of lighting the world on fire. Like, have the Padres been playing a lot better? No, it's still been up and down, you know? So it's, for me, I thought it was a no-brainer to put Xander on the IL. Like, he's openly talking about this to the media. Like, yeah, it's not great. It's not feeling well, essentially. Like, I want to have the cortisone shot, but I can't do that because of some potential cartilage damage, I think is what he said. So, like, he knows that he's in pain. He knows that he's not himself. So just go on the IL, dude. I know now you're not going to want to go on the IL because you can't backdate it. It's going to be 10 days. So the earliest he'd be able to return is what? After next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend probably. So he doesn't want to do that. But I thought he should have gone on the IL that third day where he couldn't be in the lineup. Like, just go on the IL. Manny, right? They made sure that he was okay. Make sure you're okay. Like, I'd rather have a better, healthy Xander Bogaerts when he comes back if he has to go on the IL and miss more time than have a guy come back and maybe a little bit better than when he was before he was resting here, but still not be as healthy as he was when he was, you know, lighting the world on fire, you know, the first 30 games of the year, right? And they can call up Jose Iglesias. Or they can call up Tim Lopes or whatever. I don't think it's the end of the world. They can just call up Jose Azocar and have Dixon be, you know, full-time outfield until Bogaerts comes back. I don't think it's the end of the world. Like, it's a full offense thing. It's not just Bogaerts. So I'll put him on the IL. Anything else I wanted to get to here? So, I mean, again, just roller coaster, right? The last 9 games for the Padres. 10 runs, 1 run. 5 runs, 1 run. 6 runs, 1 run. 10 runs, 1 run. 9 runs. I mean, talk about up, down, up, down, up, down. I mean, 10 runs today, 17 hits. That's great. But then yesterday, you know, they scored 1 run. 5 runs, all right, then 1 run. 6 runs, 1 run. Explode for 10-9 runs, but what do you do the day in between those 2 games? 1 run. Like, there's just not consistency right now at the offense. So it's maddening. It's frustrating. If I had to describe this year so far in one word, it's frustrating. And yeah, you can't believe in this team until they do it consistently. I want to believe in the team. I mean, I have faith long term, but I'm just talking about like right now. They're not doing it consistently. So how can you believe in the offense right now? And by the way, with the Gary Sanchez signing, I know this is kind of random, but I know that there's been some bashing of Preller, obviously, and especially during the Seattle Mariners series because of the Ty France thing. And yeah, that was a bad trade. I'll be the first one to say it. That trade sucks. Looking back on that, but I think we got to give credit to AJ. You know, he could have traded for Tomas Nido with the Mets, but instead he decided to wait. And Nido's like another Austin Nola. He decided to wait and claim Gary off of waivers, and look what has happened. I'm going to be interested in seeing if Gary remains the starter the rest of the year, or if I would assume he's going to be on the team still when Campy gets back. And when Campy gets back, is that the end of Nola? And then we're going to see Gary Campy, that catching combo, which would be interesting, I think. And I think Gary will have plenty of games under his belt when Campy comes back. So hopefully that would be the end of Nola. And it's like Gary's totally comfortable. Pitchers are comfortable with him. So if they're not comfortable with Campy, well, they can throw to Gary. Hopefully that's the end of Nola then. Sorry again, if you're just joining, I'm having a hiccup. So to use the word of Jace Tingler, I'm battling. Adventurous Collector 28 says everything came together today. Waka pitched amazing. Sanchez continues to hit well. Soto with 5 hits. And everyone contributed. Just need to be consistent now. Yeah, I agree. Just need to be consistent. Waka's been consistent pretty much, right? Since the month of May started. Sanchez continues to hit. OPS over 1,000. Soto, hopefully this is the start of him going to the opposite field, being a line drive hitter. Continuing to do that. I don't want to say the start of him being a better hitter because he's been good the last month, right? But just starting to see more opposite field hits because that's when he's his best. Kind of like, I don't want to compare Will and Soto. Like Soto obviously is better. But those that watched every Will game knows that Will Myers was a better hitter. Like he was on when he was going opposite field, when he was hitting doubles in the gap opposite field, or he was going yard opposite field, right? He was on when that was happening. And I think that's the same with Crony. I think that's the same with Soto. So, yeah, hopefully these guys start having that good approach. And Crony, maybe the first swing has a long swing, but then can shorten it up a little bit. JW, great win. It was really nice seeing Soto going opposite side. Sanchez was a great pickup. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, sorry. I have the hiccups. I can't backdate my IL stunt. I got to be available for the team. I got to post. Matt says, how do you think they will manage Waka if he continues to deal like this? Just blow through the 130 innings and hope for the best? Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if is there an innings limit on Waka? Because I know there was a bunch of talk about that with Lugo, but I think he could, if he earns it, he'll be able to start the rest of the year because of how many innings he's saving now being on the IL, right? Or at least close to the end of the year, he'll be able to start the rest of the time because of this IL stint. With Waka, I mean, he's a vet, so, and he has starting. It's not like he's coming from the bullpen, right? So, does he have an innings limit? I don't know. I forget if they said that. I'm looking at, okay, so I guess 130 would be reasonable because I'm looking at his last couple years. 2021 with Tampa, a little over 124 innings. With Boston, almost 130 innings last year. So it's around that. Last time he pitched over 160 innings was 2017. So that was a while ago. So they could make additions at the trade deadline. With the rotation, they could have Nick Martinez go in there. They could have Adrian Morahone make some spot starts. Yeah, I mean, Bob Melvin has done a good job, even with the off days, of not really skipping guys' turns. Like he even talked about that with Weathers. Like he was, I think the last time Weathers started, right after that game, he was saying like maybe it's a possibility that they skip his start, but they prioritize the pitcher's health. It's a long season, so I think with the off days, they can have Waka get a little bit of extra rest there, and maybe they allow him to just continue pitching. I wouldn't be surprised to see him maybe phantom IL if he's not actually hurt at some point. But if he's going to continue to pitch well like this, then I think they'll just let him go. As long as he's feeling good and everything, I think they just let him go. JW says, since that Saturday loss in New York, we have gone win-loss, win-loss. Yeah, consistency. John says, tomorrow is not a non-hitting day, but it's a day off. Does it still count? I don't think it does. Yeah, for the trend, and I hope it does. So Friday they can smack the Rockies, but no, I think it only counts the days that they play. All right. Quick break here. Check. I want to tell you about the best and easiest way to play fantasy sports. It's Underdog Fantasy. They have great pick'em games and best ball tournaments. In pickup games, just pick higher or lower on 2 to 5 players' stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. You can go cross-team, cross-league, and even cross-sport. Best ball revolves around the draft, which is what every fan loves the most about fantasy, and it eliminates the hassle of having to manage your roster all season long, resulting in a fun and easy fantasy product. How does it work exactly? You enter a contest where you participate in a snake draft against other users. That lineup that you drafted competes against every other draft in the entire contest. The better the combined performance of your team, the more money you win. After your lineup is all played, Underdog will take the best performing players and automatically set them as your starting lineup. That's it. No waivers, no trades, no worrying about who to start or sit. After you complete your draft, your part is done. Underdog Fantasy offers best ball in a variety of ways, including daily contests, weekly contests, playoff contests, and season-long contests. You can either enter into these and compete against thousands of other entrants for huge prizes, or, if you'd like, you can enter into a private draft with friends and family to compete for a smaller prize pool. Underdog keeps it super simple with their easy-to-use website and mobile apps. Sign up now by clicking the link in the description or by using the promo code TALKINGFRIARS, and you'll double your first deposit up to $100 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit of $10 or more. So if you deposit $100, you get $100 free. If you deposit $10, you get $10 free. All right, I did want to hit on, I forgot to mention this, about some of the roster moves that started or that happened on Tuesday before Tuesday's loss. Morahone, he was optioned to El Paso, so he was activated. He had, I think, 4 rehab outings with Lake Elsinore. Activated, sent to El Paso. I thought he was going to be activated because I read the first part of the Padres tweet, and then I was like, oh, he's actually going to El Paso. So that happened. Eggy Rosario starting a rehab assignment. He had that ankle injury, right? In spring training, he was going to fight for a roster spot, had that ankle injury, and so he's just starting back up, playing some minor league games. So he'll be another minor league depth option. Maybe, I don't know. I think the Padres, because Dixon can play outfield and infield, they'll probably still have him ahead on the minor league depth chart if Dixon goes down and Eggy's still there. They'll probably have Dixon ahead of Eggy on the depth chart there. But I think Eggy's he played 1 or 2 games last year, right, at the big league level. Didn't really get any playing time. But I think that was him and, was it Batten at that same time? Let me double check that. Now I'm interested. 5 at-bats. Yeah. He got a hit, 5 at-bats. When was this? So he does have a little bit of playing time, not a lot, a little bit of playing time. And I don't know how many games he's going to play to be like ready. I wouldn't expect him to be like called up soon or anything like that because he's just starting. This was in late August, early September. He was pretty much pinch hitting, it looks like. And he got a hit in his last game, September 11th against the Dodgers, 11-2 loss. He was playing in blowouts. I mean, one of them was a 7-1 win, 13-5, 11-2 loss. Yeah, so he was playing in some blowouts. And then David Dahl, he was DFA'd. To be honest, I almost forgot David Dahl was like in the organization. So I'm fine with him being DFA'd. I don't know if another team's going to pick him up or anything. He was playing some rehab games, pretty lengthy rehab outing, I think. I think it was like 17 games, I want to say. It was a good amount of games with AAA El Paso. And I think there's a limit on how many rehab games you can have. So he probably hit his limit, and the Padres were like, all right, well, we'll just DFA you then because we have Soto, we have Tatis, we have Grish, we have a Zokar who's healthy. We have Dixon, Rivas, I think, can play outfield too. So we're good, and we'll send you on your way. We'll see if another team picks him up. If not, then I think he'll just stay with El Paso, right? But he only got one hit. He got one hit with the Padres. He made that one hit count, though. That one hit was that game-tying home run. Remember, that was the same night San Diego State lost to UConn in the national championship game. Tied it up, back-to-back home runs. Kim had the second one on the back-to-back, and he had that walk-off home run. That was a good win. That was a fun win. That was much needed because I know San Diego sports fans, San Diego State fans, they were sad about how the season ended, and then you turn on the TV, it's like, oh man, they're gonna lose. Oh crap! This is a bad San Diego night, and then they walk it off. And it's like, oh well. You sit there. It's like, well, San Diego State, they had a great year. I mean, we thought that, but it was still painful to watch that. They had a great year, and then Padres they won. Semtech says he was still done kind of dirty. Why? He got chances. He didn't really do anything. They had a rehab assignment. There's other guys ahead of him on the depth chart. It's not like he's Juan Soto that they DFA'd. I'm fine with it happening. I might end up just going back with El Paso, to be honest, if no team picks him up. So we might see David Dahl back at the big league level for the Padres. We'll see. Yeah, I just saw that, Devin. Ellie De La Cruz crushed a home run. First homer for him. He made his big league debut the other night, right? Walked a couple times, scored a run, had a double in the gap. That guy can fly. He reminds me of Fernando. I know he was playing third, but long, athletic, fast guy. He reminds me of him. Can hit the ball hard. That guy, top Reds prospect, top 5 prospect in baseball, top 4 prospect. He's going to be exciting to watch, that's for sure. All right, let's get to some other sports stuff before I get out of here again. I have the hiccups, so that's why I'm having a little bit of a shorter show here. I'm going to still do it because I wanted to, post like Manny posts. I want to post for you guys. I love talking with you guys. I don't want to not show up. Okay. So just a reminder here. So the San Diego Wave, they play on Friday night at Racing Louisville. That's at 5 p.m. And then they come home and they finally get to have another home match. They'll play Angel City. That is on the 17th. So that's not this coming Saturday, but next Saturday. That's a day game, 1 o'clock. The rivalry, SoCal rivalry, cannot wait for that. And the San Diego Loyal, they play this Friday, same day as Wave. Their match is at home, though. Friday, 7 p.m. And there was some other interesting news for the San Diego Loyal. That came out yesterday, a little bit today. And it's the news that they will be playing at Snapdragon Stadium. They will have a friendly against a German powerhouse club, Borussia Dortmund. Hopefully I pronounced that right. They have Gio Reyna on that team, who's a member of the U.S. men's national team. And maybe they'll have some other big name players coming. But this is huge for the Loyal, right? The game's, I think, going to be on ESPN. July 27th, 7:30 p.m., Snapdragon Stadium. Loyal against Dortmund. That's pretty cool, because, yeah, it's cool to have Man United come here and play Wrexham, but that's not San Diego. There's no San Diego team playing there. That's just them two coming to San Diego. But to have a San Diego club play one of the big European clubs, I think that's really cool. And the Loyal get to get their name out there. I think it's interesting that the Loyal, a team that maybe could have become the MLS team, which they're not going to, it doesn't look like, they are going to be playing in the stadium that the MLS team will be playing in this match. And so tickets will be going on sale in a little bit. I think Friday, is when, or maybe it's Thursday. I forget when they go on sale, but that's probably going to be a hot ticket. So go on social media, the Loyal social media. They'll probably have the details there. But yeah, it's in the middle of their season too. So they should be in pretty good shape going in. And so that's just one of the many matches this summer at Snapdragon. I mean, San Diego, it's a soccer city as well as a baseball city. I mean, look at these events that are going to be happening. So obviously July 27th, Dortmund and Loyal. June 17th, June 24th, there's going to be 2 wave matches. Angel City and then OL Reign. Those are 2 good opponents there. And then June 10th, so that is actually this coming Saturday, Mexico against Cameroon. There's going to be the Gold Cup, right, later this summer. July, in the month of July 25th, the Man United and Wrexham match. And then July 8th, the Wave against the Spirit. And that's right before the World Cup happens. So for women's. So that's going to be a good matchup. Washington Spirit obviously have a lot of star power. So there's a lot happening at Snapdragon Stadium soccer-wise this summer, and I cannot wait for them. That's going to be really, really cool. And then hopefully the Wave can finish it off later in the calendar year with the championship. Bring a championship to San Diego. Hopefully Loyal can finish off in the USL as well. I believe they are in playoff position as well. And then I wanted to touch on San Diego State. So there is a little bit of news. No, like Pac-12, like it's expanding. There's no announcement on that yet. By the way, again, June 30th, that's like that cutoff date if San Diego State wants to go to Pac-12 for 2024, 2025. So they want this TV deal done so that they can get into the Pac-12. Because once the TV deal is done, I would expect San Diego State to be invited to join the Pac-12. Why not, right? Southern California. The sports teams right now are doing really good. Basketball, right? Obviously. The new stadium at Snapdragon and all that, right? Softball with their success that they've had. Like, it seems like a no-brainer for the Pac-12 to bring San Diego State in, especially with UCLA, USC, the Southern California presence leaving. But the news today, Pac-12 members have finalized an agreement on the grant of rights. So what that means pretty much is that the rights to like sponsorships and other things like that. And I don't know if you guys care about that, but things like that has been agreed upon, like how much money each school is going to get and which sponsorships can a school do, like all schools in the conference get, and which ones are schools eligible to get like single sponsorships. I believe that's what it was saying there. I was trying to look that up earlier today. So what it means for the TV deal, this I think had to happen before the TV deal. So now they can move to the TV deal. Now the grant of rights isn't going to be officially signed until after the TV deal, but they like verbally agreed on this, and the frameworks, they've been working on it for a good amount of time. So now I think the full attention should go to the TV deal. I believe that's where we're at in this process. So we'll see if they get some games on ESPN, like the late night games. Maybe ESPN doesn't want to lose that, like Pac-12 After Dark, or they get CBS or NBC or wherever. They're probably going to want big games on cable, one of those big networks, right? But I wouldn't be surprised to see some of these games be on Apple TV Plus or wherever, Amazon, wherever, some type of streaming service. Because it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of interest from these big networks to carry all of the Pac-12 games for football. And we know football drives everything, right? So maybe it's like a split thing, kind of like the NWSL, National Women's Soccer League, with the Wave. They played on CBS Sports against Gotham last weekend, and their next match, it's on Paramount Plus, right? The big matches, they played against Washington Spirit at Washington earlier this year. That was on big CBS. But most of their games, Paramount Plus. So maybe they do something like that where the big games, they're there, and then they can advertise, hey, this game's at Paramount Plus, this game's on Apple TV Plus, these games, come subscribe to this platform. Maybe that's what the Pac-12 ends up doing. But we'll see. So again, June 30th, that's a big date. But probably before that, because I don't see an agreement happening on June 30th, right? You probably want to get things hammered out before then. You don't want to do it at the last minute. So I think this is progress, getting the grant of rights out of the way. I think that's good. because now it seems like they can really try to hammer out this TV deal before June 30th if they want San Diego State in the Pac-12 for the 2024-2025 year. And that's what San Diego State does. It wouldn't be ideal for them to agree after June 30th and have to stick around in this conference for 23-24, 24-25, and then go. That's a long time. Recruiting, all that, like that's a long time. So they don't want that. So a little bit of positive news there. All right, I've got the hiccups, so this is going to be it. Talking Friars episode 410. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully it'll go away. I'll be better the next show. Thank you, everyone, obviously, for the support on YouTube, on the podcast platforms, on social media. You can follow me on Twitter, my personal Twitter, so no non-Padres stuff, at Fadden SD for all the Padres content, Talking Friars. Again, thank you. Reminder, code Talking Friars on SeatGeek, $20 off. Click that link in the description for Breaking Tea, shirts, sweatshirts, Wave, Aztecs, Padres. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll talk to you all later. See ya.